Please welcome Daryl DMC.
What's up? What's up?
Yes, dude.
What's up, man?
What's going on? How y'all doing?
DMC,
good, man.
bro.
How about you?
I'm okay. I'm hanging out in Jersey.
Still in Jersey.
Okay.
You've been
Yes.
there. You've been there the whole time. Lockdown.
Yes. Yeah. It's been an adventure.
Damn right it has. You damn right
Been
it has.
there. You've been there since the
Right.
last time we talked to you.
Yeah,
I haven't gone anywhere. I've been doing everything virtually.
But you're still working. I mean, you're doing things. You are active.
I've been going to the studio though. I've been here in Jersey going to the studio. I ain't been in a house the whole time.
Hell yeah. I mean, do you have? I'm gonna jump all over the place. I get excited when I see your face. This is it's predetermined for people that are fans, but you impacted my life. I said this before he was on our show a few months ago, but I don't have any preparation for you. I'm going to say that right now, and I'm going to apologize to you because I get.
You don't need preparation.
No, exactly.
Hey, dude,
That's
what are
it.
you doing? What's going
Great
on?
answer. Great answer.
Preparation's corny.
It's corny as shit. It's corny as shit. We don't do preparation here. We figure it out.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna tear up these papers.
Dave's
No,
done
I'm kidding.
preparation.
I really don't have
Yeah.
any. I have none. The only prep I have is in my body. It's a pill I take.
Preparation H.
So what are you working on? Can we talk about like the studio time and all that stuff?
Yeah, in the studio working on a bunch of records, and it's not to put records out. It's just during this pandemic, when it first hit, the first 3 days was all this anxiety, like crazy, and then it was anxiety, it was confusion, it was, wondering what the hell's going to happen, because like everything stopped. No shows, no performances, no nothing. So your mind starts making you think crazy thoughts.
Yeah.
But after about the third day, for me, it was like, I feel like I'm 12 years old in my room in Hollis, Queens. What did I do? What did I do to keep my sanity? Oh,
beat up.
Imagine stuff, make believe stuff, write some rhymes. So since the pandemic, I probably recorded about 20 new songs with various people, and I got to finish DMC comic book 3.5.
Dang.
So
yeah, because you got the Daryl Makes Comics.
Yes, I have a comic book company.
Yeah.
Stan Lee inspired me. I have my own comic book company. Good things I bring to you. Did you know that Daryl makes cookies too? I started a cookie business, and I'm calling it Daryl Makes Cookies. Yeah. DMC, Daryl Makes Cookies, chocolate chip, oatmeal, and sugar cookies.
Mine's just DL. It's Davey likes cookies, but there's no C at the end. I'll eat the cookies.
Davey likes the cookies, right?
That's all I've done.
You ain't making them, you eat them.
Yeah, you started a company, and I've just been depression eating.
Yeah, I've ruined like 4 companies. I've destroyed multiple companies through this. See, this is interesting to me because it takes a certain mind to initiate creative development when you're in such a dark place, whether it's publicly or personally in your own house. It's tough to find a reason to create. So like how...
Right.
If you're writing a script or
it makes you feel good. It makes you see if you're in a dark place, and then if you're creating to finish the script so that you can give it to the movie company for the movie, that's a lot of pressure. That could make you feel worse. And sometimes it could be great work, but you have all this anxiety, and you have you get depressed. Oh, you start questioning, is it going to be good? It's not about, isn't it going to be good enough? It's about releasing whatever it is that's inside of you.
For sure.
And that works both ways. Like for me, what I learned was that the world celebrates people when they go, I feel like $1 million today. Yeah. I feel like I could take on the world. I'm feeling so positive. But as soon as you say, I feel depressed today,
Yeah.
Or, you know what I'm saying? I'm not feeling really good about myself. Get away from me, weirdo. Yo, you bugging out, this and that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that's wrong because when you're in that dark place, you don't realize that you're so blinded by the darkness that you don't realize that you yourself have everything necessary for your happiness. And that's what I meant by me. It was like, okay, if I never work again, if COVID just ruins live performances for the rest of my life is not over because I never started writing the rhymes to have it as a source of income in the first place.
Right.
So what made me happy was just sitting there and saying, okay, here's Daryl at 56. What does Daryl do at 56? I just started writing about it. So maybe that was therapy to me, just getting out whatever was in me. Because when I was writing my rhymes before, I never wanted y'all to hear it. That was for me.
Right.
It just so happened that Joseph Simmons Run discovered my rhyme book. So all of that,
Right.
all of the sincerity and the innocence that was in that book, I was able to share with the world, and they could relate to it. And that's what I mean. If you don't tell the truth, if you don't tell the truth about how you feel, whether good or bad, you will never heal. Because most people celebrate people when they're feeling good. What I mean by that, there's nothing wrong with somebody saying to you, me, or anybody else is, yo, I feel like killing myself. Oh, don't say that. You bugging out. You crazy. Wait, no, that's how the person feels.
Yeah.
It's not the wrongness of the person saying that. It's since this world has been in existence, how people react to that.
Yeah.
Because if you say, I feel like killing myself, why? Let's
Right.
find out. Right. Look,
Yeah.
you don't beef with me when I say I'm hungry. I feel hungry. Go eat. I feel cold. Here's a sweater. I feel hot. Yo, turn the air conditioner on. I feel like killing myself. Get away from me, weirdo. So when people push you away, you go into isolation like there's something wrong with it. So what I'm trying to say was at the beginning of this pandemic, when I felt that there was something wrong, I realized there's nothing wrong. The pandemic is the pandemic. I could still write a rhyme. I could still sit down and use my imagination and create some more stories for my comic book. And all that does is prepare you. Like people don't realize that you think you're doing something to do it. I'm doing this to write the movie. No, even if you don't write a movie, I encourage people to sit down and write a movie because you never know. You'll be prepared a year from now, 30 years from now, when you're 100 years from now, when your grandson finds your script. It's all about preparation. But
it's got to be nice, when you're at that level too. And I sorry, I mean to cut you off, but you were saying
no problem.
To be at that level, because I started writing a book and working on a script. When you're not worried about selling it to Hollywood, and in fact, we don't really even know if there's going to be a Hollywood. Don't you feel that's when the most honest part of you comes out?
Yeah.
Exactly. But it's just all about realizing that there's nothing wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? And that's easier said than done.
100%.
But what happened with me was when I started feeling that way, I did not have to look for any substance outside of my body. I didn't have to look for any validation from anybody else in the world except me.
Right.
Okay, I'm anxious. I don't know. I'm scared. I'm nervous. But I sat down and I wrote some rhymes. And when I was finished writing the rhymes, I was feeling good.
Yeah. So
it made me feel so good. I said, I'm going to write some more. So all I did was write every day. And now I'm sitting and I'm starting to listen to the news again. And I'm starting to hear vaccinations coming.
Yeah, yeah.
But a year ago, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just all about creativity and imagination. It is therapy.
Has the
finger paint?
Has the circumstance of the social situation, has that triggered? Obviously, it's triggered inspiration and creativity. Has it changed the message that you're developing, as opposed to when you were a 13-year-old kid? writing in your room without any?
No, polka dots and puppies and ducklings. My thing is always
Dude, you drop an
been
album
family.
about fucking polka dots and puppies. That's
Well,
that's
no,
gonna it's gonna be the
It's
best.
interesting
But
now
it's-
too that we're so
it's
divided
how I-
and we're
Huh?
so divided, and we're so divided, and you're the guy that kind of brought together rock and rap into one thing. That's what I find so
Exactly.
interesting.
Right.
Is you found this common bond between people that are trying to be divided right now. I mean, how do you see
Yeah.
that right now playing into the future? Where do you think we're headed?
I think well, the crazy thing is the division is so upfront now.
Yes.
Before, people, you know what I'm saying, you would find out how people felt later. Now it's just like every second. But then again, that's why Daryl McDaniels was part of that thing with Jason Mizell and Joseph Simmons to knock down the walls of separation. Like we brought when we made Rockbox before Walk This Way. Walk This
Yes.
Way was the physical manifestation of what already existed in this universe, but nobody was allowing it to be displayed in a way that everybody could relate to it. Because prior to Run DMC, Walk This Way isn't the first rock rap record. First rock rap record is Rock Box, which was the first rap video on MTV. That was 84.
Oh yeah. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Travis Barker, Kid Rock, and David Grohl, they know this. They know, no, Walk This Way changed the world, but Rockbox started it. Then we did King of Rock. I'm the king of rock. There is none higher. And then we did Walk This Way. But what I'm trying to say was, when we did that, we didn't do it to bring white people and black people together. We did it because rock was dope. It was, those beats are dope. But by us putting it on the forefront, it made people realize that prior to Run DMC, rock was white people's music and hip hop was black people's music.
After we stole it.
We all doing it. You know what I'm saying? So Walk This Way,
Jazz
Walk
first.
This Way was when Steven Tyler took that mic stand and knocked down that wall in that video, people was like, yo, D, that didn't just happen in the video. It happened in the world. So Run DMC was significant on crash through walls, come through floors, bust through ceilings in, knock down doors. You know, the Beastie Boys already had a love for hip hop, but it was a punk rock band. So it wasn't until Rick Rubin started working with us and they started hanging around, they looked at Jay and said, these white Jewish kids from New York City looked at Jam Master Jay and said, yo, Jay, you think we could make a rap song? And Jay was like, why not? So we gave them Slow and Low. And our differences basically shows that we're the same. And people,
and that's what
you call your God that, I call my God that, but it's God rights. But the Beastie Boys, I said, my name is DMC. I said, I got determination, bass in highs. I see really well because I have 4 eyes. That's what I said on Slow and Low. We gave it to the Beastie Boys. They said, I got determination, bass in highs. One of the best lines in hip hop ever is this: White Castle fries only come in one size.
Yes.
We lost it because White Castle fries only come in one size. So for yo, did you hear that? So right then it broke the ice. We all the same. You know what I'm saying? So it's those little things that need to be spoken or demonstrated that could tear down walls, bring people together, or even save a life.
So knowing knowing what you know now, through going through all that, how does your message change through music now at your age, knowing we're not in a similar position, but like how do you develop your music and your message? How much have you changed? Like, if, you know, my words at 20 years old, I'm 41. At 41 years old, I look back at 26. I'm like, oh, I was a fucking idiot. I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything. I didn't start learning anything until late 20s, early 30s, and still don't know shit. So if you know that
Right.
as a creator of music and content, how do you constantly develop yourself and challenge yourself to say, okay, given this circumstance, knowing what I did then, how do I readapt and reinvent myself? And this goes for all
Well,
genres of entertainment. This is not
all
just
genres
music.
of entertainment. It's you come from where you're at. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm not going to be 56 rhyming about the things I was rhyming about.
Yeah, you're a
when I was
corny dad dork.
26.
yeah,
Yeah,
kids don't like
that's
that.
I'm not trying to, impress Lil Wayne
Yeah,
and compete
right.
with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you come from where you at. It's just like, and what's funny is, it's like when I was rhyming about wearing glasses and going to St. John's University, when I was rhyming, son of Byford, brother of Al, man is my mother and runs my pal. So I would rhyme that. People say, oh, geez, father and mother, oh, his sneakers now. I just do the same thing now, but it'll be stuff like, I found out that I was adopted when I was 35 years old.
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
I was in rehab. Like, and it's like I put Run DMC we on Public Enemy's new album. And they did Chuck and Flavor, Chuck Flavor, Run, and the Beastie Boys did Public Enemy #1 over. And Chuck said it's the original beat, say whatever rhyme you want to say. So when I got on my verse, I talked about drinking a lot, Hennessy and Jack Daniels being my best friend and this and that. And one of the comments one of the dude had said was, I don't think this was the place for DMC to put that there. And I was like, oh, so this guy is really a knucklehead, because if it was 86 and I talked about how many 40s I drunk,
Cool
you'd
shit.
be saying I was the coolest person in ride.
Yeah.
But it's even cooler for me to say I don't drink no more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now, it's like I said, if I'm a rhyme about polka dots, puppies, and kittens, I say it so mean and hard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but at the same token,
so
you're the
mean.
reason. You're the reason I drove.
But that's the thing that reaches people. You know what I'm saying? Okay, the dude that is selling drugs and shooting and in the gang, he ain't harder than me. If there's no way that motherfucker's harder than me, because I read comic books, I get straight A's. You know what I'm saying? It's Christmas time. So it's all about coming from where you are, because I found out over my time, there's a billion people just like me. And what I'm trying to say is, I don't need the 18 million people that brought Eminem's album. I need the 18 million that didn't. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I don't need the guy that drinks to hear me at this point in my life. I need the person that's sitting there thinking about committing suicide, thinking about going to rehab, thinking about going to therapy, just to hear DMC say, what I say on a Chuck, on a Public Enemy record, I said, there was a time when I was losing it, alcohol, I was abusing it, a wealth of health, I wasn't choosing it. To help myself, I wasn't doing it. Mom and dad, they meant a lot to me. They helped me get where I got to be. When they told me they adopted me to help me fulfill prophecy, I did not know I had enemies named Jack and Jim and Hennessy. They came with a smile befriending me, with the intent of ending me, taking my power like kryptonite. Because it is known when I get to mic, I go into a zone and I rip the mic, just like this rhyme that I spit tonight. You can't understand how much it took to kick their asses and leave them shook, kill all the clowns and crush the crooks, because I'm a superhero in the comic books. My make-believe is your reality. I'm everything I pretend to be. Everything I need is inside of me, and anything else is the enemy. Now, I just said that rhyme. So somebody else might be saying, somebody else just want to hear that.
It's incredible.
Go, why is DMC rhyming about therapy?
That'd be great if you just did that all the way to like 8:15.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude. That was
just ride it out for another 15 minutes, and then me and Dave are like, bye.
All right, let me just get to the end.
Also, why I wanted
somebody's gonna hear that and say, "Why is DMC rhyming about his therapy problem?" You don't need to hear that shit,
dude. I'm telling you right now,
right. You don't need to hear that shit, but somebody would hear that.
Most of our feedback
in
certain episodes when we speak about mental disorders and
right.
depression and suicide issues, we get the biggest response back because it's a normalcy.
Everybody is though.
Yeah.
See, the problem is the world is fronting. Men, especially men, ever since I've been vocal about my problems and stuff like that, there's this big thing with men because we so masculine, and admitting that we have a problem is weakness and stuff like that. No, that's actually strength and power. I'm more powerful now than I was at 18. Like this DMC here will put a foot in the ass of that other guy.
Dude, I would fuck up any 18-year-old. I don't care how big they are.
Oh, for sure.
Even my father now. My father's like 70 years old. He still acts like he could fuck up anyone. I'm like, Dad, you gotta stop talking shit in public. Someone's gonna wreck you, dude. I know we're at a Pizza Hut right now, but that kid's gonna fuck you up.
Partially why I called you, because we're hitting up the holidays now, and I did want to have you back on for this reason, is you came very close to suicide right when you were at the Pillar of Fame. I mean, you had your DUIs, your drunken public,
Down with the King.
Drinking
Pete Rock, Seal Smooth produced Down with the King. Down with the King did from Run DMC what Walk This Way did for Aerosmith. It brought us back in the 90s. Hip hop had changed, and it brought us back, and we went out on the road and we put a foot in the ass of anybody who people was putting us back on their show because they loved us. And we was opening for them.
Speaking
everybody
of,
kicked
not
us
to
off
cut you
their
off,
tour because you know.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but the idea of having a 40 fridge in the back seat of your car has stayed with me since our last conversation. Outside of finding out you were adopted while almost committing suicide, they're the two things that will forever resonate in my head.
No, I had a refrigerator in the back of my Monster truck.
That is fucking unbelievable.
Now
you forgot Monster
example. In the hood, I had a Monster truck back then.
Oh,
back tires. I had a Monster truck.
Damn, dude. Are you sure you're not Italian?
I must be a lot of things.
You got to be a little Italian. Get a DUI in a Monster truck. It makes sense.
I had a Monster truck with a $50,000 sound system and a refrigerator for my 40s. Now, in the hood, that was celebrated behavior.
Of course. You wrote that when you were 13. You were like, this is going to be my future.
I was the king.
Yes.
DMC drinks 40. I was drinking a case of 40s a day. So DMC drinks a case of 40s. He got, yay.
Yes.
I did not know at the time, there's something wrong. There was a reason it's amazing. Maybe it's okay to be a dude in the hood. He could drink 2 whole 40s by himself. That might be cool. A case?
Yeah.
Something wrong. So when I went to rehab to stop drinking, I discovered this. And I went to rehab to stop drinking, but I didn't know about this thing called therapy. And therapy was the thing that allowed me to talk to me and do 2 things: say stuff I said to myself that I didn't listen to years ago, and repeat. Say stuff that I said that I didn't listen to, and then deep down inside, get the stuff out that I was afraid to talk about. So I thought that was like, I was like, whoa. I didn't know I was thinking like that. And my doctor was like, I was diagnosed with suppressed emotions. My true feelings, I was suppressing with the old English. The old English was making me think I was dominant and powerful, but it was really taking all my power away. So it's just all about being honest. It's like, okay, I like to drink. I gotta admit that. I never liked smoking weed because weed makes you think too much. You get paranoid. And then Jay and Run smoked a lot of weed. I would notice they were messy. They were very sloppy. And I'm OCD. And they would always lose stuff. I lost my wallet. I lost my passport. So I was like, I don't like this weed thing. But I was drinking to put these fake feelings on display, not to deal with my real feelings. What do I really want to do? I am not rhyming to become a legend. I am not rhyming to sell records. I am not rhyming to be on TV. I am just rhyming and writing rhymes because I was pretending to be like Melly Mel.
Yeah.
I was making believe I was Cool Mo D. I was making believe I was Grandmaster Flash. Now, by me doing that by myself, with no management, no people directing me. I didn't realize from 12 years old to 18 years old, that's 6 years of practice. So when Run says, D, I want to put you in my group, come say your rhyme after me. And Run, he was doing it as, Run saw his brother Russell doing business with this hip hop. So Run was like, I'm gonna get me a Bentley, I'm gonna get me a mansion and a Rolls Royce. So he saw that side. I didn't see that side. The only thing, I didn't see nothing with hip hop because I would only hear it. But I would say, that makes me feel good. So after 6 years of practice and Run, if you listen to Suck MCs, that's Run's record. That's Run's whole record before I was even in the group. He puts me on at the end. DMC, if you're ready, the people rocking steady. I'm driving big cars, you get your gas from Getty. And I come on, I'm DMC, in the place to be. I go to St. John's University. And since kindergarten, I acquired the knowledge. At the 12th grade, I went straight to college. Now, the dudes in the hood was like, yo, this dude is rhyming about school. He's not rhyming about pimps and hoes and guns and nines. So that impressed them. But what that really impressed, think about all the kids that was in college at the time that didn't have nobody speaking for him. So those are the people that, the same way if I rhyme about, I'm sitting in a room talking to my shrink, trying to find a missing link to suppress my emotions. I used to drink, but now I don't care what the people think. There's one, I don't need to hold 50,000 people to love that. That one little kid, that one little girl, that one business guy that was thinking about ending it tomorrow might hear me say that and say, yo, I'm gonna get up and go get help. If DMC could do it, I could go do it. I rhymed about wearing glasses. It was so powerful that people that didn't need glasses want to wear them. Who do they dress like every Halloween?
That's how I am. That's how I am with condoms.
Run used to always go, D, why everybody want to dress like you? I don't think it was more about the way I looked and what I was doing. A lot of people could relate with the guy with the glasses.
Yeah.
Because now guys before that, we was 4 eyes, binoculars. Like everything a person gets teased about, everything a person thinks is not worthy of them, is the very thing to lead them to their riches. So in that depressive state, look how mean I am with my glasses.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm mean is if you take them off, I can't see anything. So you better not take my glasses. You know what I'm saying? So it's just so simple.
That Raiders.
I just want
very
people
heavy.
You're
just obsessed.
Yeah. He's holding his neck up with the glasses and the chain. He's very tired.
People just need to realize that they okay. Like, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to be okay. It's okay. The problem is when you're going through something, you think you're the only one in the world going through it. Yeah. I want to be the guy to say, no, me too. You know what I'm saying?
You're right. I mean, and
it doesn't have to be a celebrity. It could be like so many people. The stigma, I found this out too. The stigma with mental health issues doesn't just exist because of us that go through it. Here's the problem. People that's not going through nothing won't come and say to you, my daughter is anorexic. My daughter is alcoholic. My daughter is having a problem. Because they're not even worried about how you're going to think about the daughter. They're worried about how you're going to think about them.
Yeah.
The guilt and shame. If you don't remove guilt and shame, you don't remove the pain. So a lot of the problems with mental health isn't because of us. Like I know that if I say I'm an alcoholic, suicidal, metaphysical wreck, 100 people in the room will say yes. The problem is they won't say it unless they hear somebody else say it. But somebody who's not going through what we're going through is ashamed of it. So stigma exists because the people who think they are normal are ashamed of us. My thing is to remove the guilt to shame. Yes, I drunk a case of fucking 40s and I'm an alcoholic. If I say that, somebody in the room, every time I say something, this happens. 100% of the time, somebody comes up to me and goes, they look around in secrecy. DMC.
Do you have
I hear these words. I've never told anybody else this but me too. So if the person who's going through it is ashamed of doing it, imagine how the people who are watching those people, they feel ashamed. They're not worried about their son being on drugs. They're worried about how their boss or their constituents or how other people, man, you're a father and you let your son bug out like that. So the shame is not just with us. We have our issues just like people have toothaches. We have our issues just like people have backaches. We have our issues just like people have eye problems. So if I have a backache, you're gonna say you'll go to the doctor. If I got a toothache, you're gonna say go to the dentist. But if I say, yo, I'm suicidal, I'm alcoholic, and I'm to get away from me, weirdo, I'm not feeling myself today, that's the problem. Those people are the people that we have to educate.
You're right, because part of the stigma with depression is the fact that some people don't understand it. It's like why it's like when they tell you to cheer up. It's like it's not sadness. They're only familiar with sadness and they think it's this constant sadness. It's not. It's a disorder that it's that anger turned inward. And like you said, all three of us from our generation, when you grow up, you were not supposed to share your feelings. That was just not something men did. And if you did, you were kind of a pussy, so you just repressed it as much as humanly possible. Occasionally, when you're like 7, 8, it would come out in crying screams from, every time you tore your back open on the slip and slide and somebody called you a name, you just pushed it down here. Right. But yeah, eventually it all just kind of becomes this powder keg. And I think what you're saying is so interesting because for people to be able to find their own happiness, they have to learn to be comfortable with themselves, but too many people are just worried about being judged. And to be honest, that's myself included. I think that's the issue with social media and the internet right now is we're all looking for likes, and some of those likes, it doesn't matter if it's through hate. As long as you're being liked or accepted by a group. Yeah. And that's a terrifying thing to me now is that we've allowed social media to kind of run away with it in this age of, I think, more mental disorders than ever. And right now we're looking at 1/4 of people in lockdown have considered suicide. And that's just the statistics as of right now. But that's 1/4 of this country who are broken right now. And I think a lot of that has to do with how they appear to other people, not realizing that the other people are in that same pain.
Yep, 100%. I just did an interview. It's coming out in January because one of the most Googled questions was, what do you do for a person that's depressed over this last year?
Right.
What do you do? Because people don't know this and that, and they all know the people.
And they're even roundabout way asking Google. They're not even saying, what do you do when you're depressed? They're like, hey, Google, don't judge me. What if my friend's depressed?
Hiding it from dad.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
But God, I didn't mean to cut you off there. But yeah, you saw that.
100% right, And unfortunately, a lot of people don't know what to do. So, they start drinking, they start taking drugs, they start doing, stuff that is not normal behavior. It's normal to have a drink every now and then, but it's just not normal to drink 24/7 and drink 1240.
Did my mom tell you to say all this? Because I feel like I'm being fucking judged right now. This is like it's like a diary entry. Like it's not normal. It's not. No, you're right, and I want to reiterate this. I'm sorry to make light of that. We are.
Keep it real. People like to hear it because the first thing you do, you got to get people to laugh at themselves. Like people say, "Dude, you tell your story so nonchalantly," but it makes them look at this. And, man, you know what? I could go get help. Like, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
You need that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, because you're cheerier. If you're more jovial when you're trying to express your pain, people can relate. If you're like Eeyore, people are like, just you're the downer. Just go away. It's not going to help you or anybody.
Exactly. I like that. Eeyore needs some boys and like
Eeyore needs a fucking Run DMC. That's
he don't need it. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
He needs.
We need a hip hop Eeyore, dude. We need a fucking 90s hip hop Eeyore. That dude would fucking rule. Spin him right
exactly.
around.
Exactly. But what I say? I got another record where I say I'm sick and tired. I got another song where I say I'm sick and tired of the pain and the hurt. I do this for Chester, Chris, and Kurt. Chester from Lincoln Park, Chris Cornell, and Kurt Cobain.
Yeah.
I was there with them. I just didn't keep going like they did. I say I'm sick and tired of the pain and the hurt. I do this for Chester, Chris, and Kurt. Death is appealing, so with death I flirt. I tell the world how I feel, and they think I'm a jerk. I'm not bugging, I'm struggling. All this guzzling is puzzling. So you know what I did? I stopped hanging with Jack and Jim so I could fight in a battle and show that we all can win.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying?
Suck my word, dude. Suck my
You know what I'm
bird.
saying?
That ruled.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's like, you know, I'm
Most-
sick and tired of the pain and the hurt. I do this for Chester. I was there. I could have been one of DMC kills, commit suicide. Fortunately, after doing a show in Vegas with DJ Hurricane of the Beastie Boys, I realized that for the last 4 or 5 years, people was telling me, "D, you got a problem?" I was like, okay. I do. You know what I'm saying? I had to tell my
You're like, this is
Some of
empty. Go fill
So
it.
yeah, so also with me, I couldn't get no higher. I was drinking Jack Daniels and Jim Beam, and you know, I got to that threshold of if I keep drinking, I'm gonna die. You know what I'm saying? So then I said, okay, let me go stop. Well, what really happened though was this. A lot of the void that was in me was the fact that I didn't know that I was adopted. So,
Right. Yeah.
truth be told, when I found out that I was adopted, I said, I need to sober up if I'm going to go down that road to go find my birth mother. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to go down that road drunk because that could have been a train wreck. So I said, okay, you know what?
And you're in a monster truck.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm in a monster truck.
It's a monster truck full of 40s. Like, are you my fucking mom or not?
Right, exactly.
Damn.
So, you know, at that point in my life, I was like, okay, I got something new to do. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, Down with the King put us back on and this and that, and I still wasn't happy. So even Run was like, yo, D, man, we got records. We started touring again in 93, and, you know, we was opening up for like ZZ Top and Marilyn Manson and Limp Bizkit. And now, you know, in the 80s, we was getting big 80s money. You know what I'm saying? We built the whole Razor L tour. That now in the 90s, we toured, we get 90s paychecks now. And I still wasn't happy. You know what I'm saying? Pete Rock had Down with the King killing, and, you know, I still wasn't happy. And the good thing about Pete Rock, I think one of the reasons why that record was so good, when Pete produced us in the studio, he looked at me, he said, D, you don't need to be like any of these new motherfuckers. Because, you know, hip hop had changed. You know what I'm saying? I don't need bars. I don't need, what's that thing they call?
Auto-tune?
All of that, whatever rap was doing right now and stuff. That he said, I just want, what is DMC? And this is funny. He said, what is DMC doing at this time? And my rhyme on Down with the King was, I'm taking the tours, I'm wrecking the land, I keep it hardcore because it's dope, man. These are the roughest, toughest words I ever wrote. And I was really mad at hip hop because hip hop was letting R&B take all our hip hop music, like Diddy. Diddy was taking all our hip hop. That's the point. Like, remember R&B and hip hop used to be separate. Yeah. It's hip hop over here, and Gerald Levert and Keith Sweat, he was over there, and Bobby Brown over there. Diddy started taking all that hip hop beats and letting all the R&B people singing on, so that he was taken from us. So I said, taking the tours and wrecking the land, I keep it hardcore because it's dope, man. These are the roughest, toughest words I ever wrote. And I never said, you know, the bitch a whole road, but I said it's not meant for a whole like a slow jam. I wasn't dissing the women. I was dissing the other MCs. You know what I'm saying? You're doing this singing stuff over James Brown. Now we're supposed to be rhyming. You know what I'm saying? Damn. Only G.O.D. could be a king to me. And if the G.O.D. be in me, then a king I be. People's like, yes. Yeah, I want Daryl. So that was kind of like a wake-up call for me to say, yo, when you rhyme, D, I flew on private a couple of times. So if I'm gonna rhyme about a private jet, I ain't gonna say I got one. I'm gonna say, I flew private a couple of times. I'm gonna be honest. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things too with your mental. Be honest, because you can tell a lie, and that lie will keep you up for the next month. Because two things, you knew it was wrong, and then you got all this anxiety about people really finding it out. So it's best to tell people, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't want to live like that. That's why, you know, Run DMC, we accept a little bit on the Back from Hell album. Everybody's like, why Run DMC trying to be like the gangster rappers? But that's just because Jay's influence, he was producing Onyx at the time.
Slam!
So a lot of everybody, remember that?
Yeah.
Damn, dude, I had a fucking dunk contest to Slam when I was in 7th grade. You had to dodge the drop ceiling that was only like 8 feet. It was a big deal. I'm glad you set me up there. I want a slam dunk contest to slam from Onyx, guys. This is a big fucking deal. Yeah,
big shout out to Onyx.
Yeah, it's on my resume, dude. I know you've done some special things, but maybe you haven't won a slam dunk contest to Onyx.
No, I haven't. The craziest thing that I ever did was perform in South Sudan.
Damn.
I went to South Sudan, and I was the first hip hop guy from America to perform, and it was during the week. It was during a week where South Sudan and North Sudan wasn't at war. So here, and we out there with no UN. Hold on, we out there with no UN. We out there with no government. We just went because the Hard Rock Cafe was sponsoring a former boy soldier. And this boy soldier, when he was 9 years old, the rebel army came into his village and killed all the grown-ups. Look, if you want to be sad, the rebel army comes into your village and kills all the grown-ups. It takes all the little kids hostage and give them machine guns and go tell them to go fight the government and fight the UN army.
Yeah.
So this little boy, he did that for 9 months. It started with 40 of them, and they started dying off because they was getting killed, shot, blown up, and they was dying of starvation. So it went from 40 to 30 to 20. It's a crazy story, but this was the beauty about it. So it got down to him and his best friend. They were the only two alive, and his best friend was dying. And his best friend says to him, "I love you if I die." And I'm smiling because if you see this guy, Emmanuel Jal, he's the nicest, most eloquent, kind-spirited soul who shot his own people, gutted babies out of stomachs. Crazy. So his friend says, "I love you. If I die, it's okay to eat me." So his friend dies. And Emmanuel said his prayer to God wasn't, "God, come save me." He said this was his prayer. The pros and cons of eating his friend and the pros and cons of not eating his friend. This is deep. Right when he was making a decision of what he was going to do, the UN peacekeepers come and save him. They take him from Sudan and send him to Nairobi, and they put him in the rehabilitation camp to teach him to talk, to not be so violent. So he said his first month in there, he's stabbing all the other students with pencils, like he was a wreck. But one of the counselors had a tape with Public Enemy, Run DMC, and Naughty by Nature on it. So the counselor, young 22-year-old counselor, is playing this hip hop thing, and Emmanuel said he heard it and was like, "What's that?" And the guy was like, "Yo, this is hip hop, this and that." He said when he heard hip hop, it was the only thing, this is powerful, that made him feel good. The counselor said, "I'll let you hear more of this if you do two things for me. Stop fighting and go to school."
Don't kill your
Emmanuel started going to school. He got straight A's, went to the top of his class, made it to the university, graduated from the university, majored in music, and went on to become a African hip hop star that was going to make records to educate and move his people like Public Enemy, Naughty by Nature, and Run DMC.
Damn.
How crazy is that?
Incredible.
Yeah, that's fucking.
That's the craziest story ever. So I got to meet him at an event in New York City, and he comes to me and he says, "Do you want to go to South Sudan?" And I was like, "Sure." I did not know what I was getting into. But I went, it was crazy there. But when the beats came on, those people got up like they knew. And I was like, how do they know the music? Out of all the little tribes that live in huts, somebody has a cell phone or somebody has an iPhone, and the whole family will sit around every night and watch videos.
Fuck.
So they know Pop, they know Biggie and stuff like that. So that was my most crazy experience ever.
That's amazing. Especially coming from a guy who drank and drove a monster truck like Brad Wesley in Roadhouse. I'm sorry, it's kicking that mission out of my mind.
Dude, it's the best.
But dude, that's amazing. Like it's kind of like that. Did you ever see that Searching for Sugar Man documentary out of Detroit? The guy who ended up being this huge artist overseas. Yeah. And it's kind of like that, where they had
Oh wait, did I mute myself?
I didn't, did I?
No, you're good.
Yeah, like it has kind of like that feel to it where you don't even realize how much influence you have in this certain area until you hear about it much later.
Oh, I think you might be muted.
He's muted. Yeah.
Oh,
Daryl, I
I'm
think you're
muted?
muted, brother. Yeah.
Hello, hello.
Hold
You're
on.
good.
Yes, got you now.
Yeah.
Yes.
You hear me? Yeah, I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
everybody has a purpose and destiny. That's why I always tell people, if you're going through something, share your story. Well, I don't want nobody to know. I said, no, it ain't about knowing. If you share your story, you can save a life. Because there's somebody who's feeling just like you, but scared to let them know because they feel so alone.
So
Here's another story. I was 2 years ago. I spoke at CD Baby's annual music conference in New Orleans. They have an annual music conference about streaming and how to put your independent artists. So I
yes,
was
yeah.
the day before me. Questlove was a keynote speaker. So my day, I was the keynote speaker. So it's about 400 people in the room, and it was basically a night with DMC, and I'm telling all the story about Daryl from Hollis, Run DMC, and everything. So I go through everything, and like I said, I like to keep it real. So I go through the Down with the King Pete Rock stuff, right? And everybody's like, oh, love it. Yeah, me and Steven Tyler, the Adidas deal, this and that. So then I get to the Pete Rock thing. Yeah, Pete Rock and CL Smooth. Yeah, 1993. And then I woke up the next morning and wanted to kill myself. Now you can hear a pin drop. Everybody in the room's like this. So I tell the whole story about, driving with the 40s and the refrigerator, rehab, and all of that. So I finished, right? So at the end, the commentator comes up and makes the announcement. Mr. McDaniels will be in the hallway at his table signing whatever you want to sign. You could purchase his book, 10 Ways Not to Commit Suicide, if you want. Now, it was 9 o'clock. We were supposed to be out the building by 11. I did not get out the building till 1 in the morning. Why? Because everybody that was in that room hearing me keynote speak, when I started speaking about addiction and depression and suicide, all 400 people got on my line. I was pissed. I want to go back to my room. All 400 people got on my line to tell me too. Now, out of the 400 people, only about 50 wasn't me too. But the other 50 was Mr. McDaniels, my brother's at home struggling. An older lady, Mr. McDaniels, my daughter. And they just said this. I'm so thankful that I heard this tonight. I'm talking about all 400 people in my keynote speech add something to deal with a mental health issue. Now, everybody's else keynote speaker was just about music, and if you're going to stream and you got to know how to post and this and that. I spoke and I could not leave the venue because everybody had to come tell me too, or my son, my daughter, my mother. And the bad things is the people that said, man, I wish my daughter was alive to hear this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish my son, and I'm like, damn. So that's why it's important for us to talk about it. Like I always say, we need more dialogue. It's funny how the media will mention somebody's in rehab now, but they mention it like it's a blurb in current events about the star.
Or a phase.
Yeah.
Huh?
Or like a phase that they're in.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Right. Like, exactly. As opposed to, no, this is something that's affecting this person that affects a million other people. So I think it's up to us to utilize, like, I'm looking at it like this. I'm not going to be preachy, but the same way I rapped about my Adidas, I'm going to rap about my 40 that I don't drink no more.
Right.
I just got to be clever with it. And that answers your question of like, how do I put that in there? The King of Rock, son, I'm down with Run. Paul DMC, the adopted one. And somebody hear that and go, did I just hear it? Like an adopted person say, I heard DMC was adopted. And then a year will go by, that person, just because I said that in a rhyme, they'll buy a ticket to Comic-Con, because I do all the Comic-Cons now.
Yeah.
And people would just come to my table. I heard you was going to be at the New York City Comic-Con. I heard a year ago, I saw a story with you telling about you was in rehab. I just want to come tell you thank you. That's why those people that come, they buy a ticket. I don't like comic books, they tell me. So why are you here? I had to come meet you because I heard something that you said in the interview. That's powerful. That's what people need. You know what I'm saying? They don't need people telling them you're a weirdo. They don't need people telling, oh, ain't nothing the matter with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, to relate to like stand-up comedy, like Dave, you can probably attest to this more than I can, but you get personal messages more so from being real and telling a story about real life than the setup punch, a misdirection comic that is in the limelight and somebody that's famous for just telling zany fucking jokes. If you have an ability to tell a story that's real and comes from a damaged background, people relate to that, and you'll get personal messages. I mean, Dave and I on the show, you get these long messages going, hey, this really helped me through something. And you have a platform, obviously it's a lot larger, but that never goes unnoticed. And I appreciate you continuing that even through stardom, thinking the same way and having that same mentality regardless of where you're going, because you don't need to. You really don't. I mean, like a lot of stars, they get famous, they make a lot of money, and they go, well, fuck it, I'll go to the Caribbean, I'll get a small yacht, I'll do drugs and buttholes from strippers. But you're hearing these, I guess, like these messages that you continually give. It's not a thing. It's not a fad. You truly believe this, and I think that's important. And it gets lost in most stars. Like they don't give a shit. Yeah. They don't give a shit.
No, and when happiness is based on actually looking inside yourself and self-love and trying to put out a message that's positive, it's so rare now because it's very easy to get lost in that bitterness and get lost in that anger. And I think the fact that you do put out a positive message goes a long way, because even when you mentioned Eminem, like I'm a Detroit guy, so obviously I love Eminem, but it's like, there's definitely parts to certain rap songs where there's a bit of bad meets evil is going to have a lot of hate behind it, and that's just what it is. Sure. And I love Royce the 5'9", and I love all that, but I just think it's so important to acknowledge the positivity that can be out there, because people are going to feel alone and broken unless they're able to just say to somebody, okay, I can actually relate to you on a human level. It takes away a fear that we all have, and I think we're all a little bit afraid to live right now.
Yeah.
That
a
being
large
said,
percentage. Yeah.
I promise you that when I walk out of this building with a filled heart of joy, I'm going to fist fight someone on the street, just to make sure I still have it. I got to keep it real.
Just to make sure.
Yeah.
Exactly. You don't want your dad to think you're gay because he talks about feelings.
Daryl, thank you so much, dude. This is wonderful.
No, thank you.
I can't wait to get you in the studio as promised.
Yes, hopefully that's going to happen soon. That's why
I know, man. Yeah.
I'm feeling very optimistic. The vaccine thing, and whether you're going to take it or not, let's get it out there so they can open up the venues and we can start traveling again. And,
dude.
And stuff like that, and get back together.
Yeah, I feel
one of the highlights of my life is being on an album with you, thanks to Dirty White, and honestly, it's just incredible to be on that. And we do want to end though with one of your songs, "The Light," which you can tell us a little bit about. But I do want to ask, where can we find your comics and everything before we let you go? And I know Tom's got other.
Daryl Makes Comics is the comic book company. I am in every comic book store globally, which is cool. DMC 3.5 will be out in a couple of months, and then DMC number 4, I got 3 issues out now. DMC number 4 will drop next October at the New York City Comic Con.
That's so awesome.
And the light video will be finished probably like by the 3rd week in December, and then I'm hoping to put out a new album. DMC, but it's Dynamic Musical Collaborations for that entity of DMC. It's DMC Dynamic Musical Collaborations. I collaborated with Mick Moss from Motley Crue, Travis Barker, Tim Armstrong from Rancid, Sammy Hagar. I got Joan Jett on there.
Yes, dude.
I got Chuck D, a Public Enemy, Ice-T.
I love that you fuck with everyone from your generation instead of like playing the game and getting some new artists. That rules.
And I have a Tim
Right, I
Armstrong
mean, it don't
Fender,
work.
so
Like,
it's
you know what I'm
amazing.
saying? It's like it's it don't work. I like the fact that the old artists can make some new music.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well,
You know
yeah,
what I'm
of
saying?
course you invented
Yeah.
it.
All right, brother.
Well, yeah, thank you so much for having us on and
No,
for you
thank you.
coming on. Sorry, I just that was really powerful, man. I thank you so much.
No, thank
And
you. I
here-
can't wait to see you guys in person, man.
Hell yeah, dude.